Hello my friend, Edward here with another slice of weekly wisdom. Now sleep is essential for all of us, but did you know the first hour after waking up is crucially part of the sleep process? And how we own the morning, as I called it in a previous video, can have an impact on how we sleep, how we behave, and how we experience life? Well, keep watching for a deeper dive into sleep, waking, addiction, and how what you do in the first hour affects not just your sleep, but your whole day and even the course of your life. I'm Edward Terry and I'm your personal success coach on a mission to provide you with the tools and techniques to help you step into the life of your dreams. If you're new here, welcome beautiful person, and if you've been here before, remember to subscribe and tap into your full potential. I was listening to Andrew Huberman the other day, an American neuroscientist and tenured professor in the Department of Neurobiology at the Stanford University School of Medicine, and he said this about pleasure. Pleasure, experienced without requirement for pursuit, is terrible for us, as individuals and as groups. But those of us who are going to be successful in life are those who can create their own internal buffers. They will be able to control their relationship to pleasures. Now he goes on to discuss the rise of addiction in all forms, not just medication, and how pervasive it is in our society. For example, prescription meditation is being used recreationally because it basically gives you a dopamine hit. Adrenaline junkies have to go further each time to sustain the hit they get from whatever activity it is they're doing, like jumping out of a plane. Some turn to drugs to sustain the feeling, and that leads to overdoses, and actually it's a new clinical subcategory in addiction now. And there's a surge from fast foods. They're easy to access and they give the body a pleasurable feeling while not benefiting it organically. And then there's the addiction to social media. You can be addicted to anything: work, exercise, sex, drugs, alcohol, ASMR, television, pain, fast food, chocolate, coffee. The list goes on. Andrew summarizes addiction beautifully when he says, "Addiction is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring you pleasure." Think about that for a moment. When one coffee is not enough and you need 2, then 3, then 4, or 1 bar of chocolate, then 2, then more. You may even start to habit stack, and here it's bad habits, where you link 2 things together, like not being able to have a good night out without being totally drunk, or not experiencing joy and intimacy without needing external stimuli to turn you on. For example, pain and fetishes and things like that. Do you habit stack bad habits? Or find one habit is triggered by another, like reaching for a cigarette when you're stressed, or needing a drink after a hard day at work? Has this become habitual for you? Now, take a moment to recognize this and comment below if there is one unconscious behavior you have now realized that you can stop after watching this video. He then flips the expression and says a good life is an expansion of the things that bring you pleasure. And this really highlights the fulcrum we stand on every single moment, a fulcrum of choice in how we indulge and how we behave. Do we give in to our wants and take the left-hand path down the narrowing corridor of addiction and hedonism without cause or intention? Or do we consciously choose to take the right-hand path and, for want of a better word, moderate our consumption of whatever may lead to an addiction? When we find ourselves at a low point, we have to stop and take stock of what's happening. We may be depressed or down for a valid reason, but in our modern society we are, more often than not, just experiencing the effects of a dopamine overdose and the resultant crash. When you scroll a social media feed like Instagram, your brain is exposed to potentially thousands of context switches in as few as 30 minutes, as your brain jumps from people to places, to video clips, to animals, to pranks, to music, to Grogu, to dancing. You get the idea. Your brain is wired for slower switching, like coming into the house from outside or meeting a friend for coffee. But this constant flood of context switching leads to a burnout of sorts. Now, a friend of mine experienced this recently. She's a coach and regularly contributes in social media forums in her niche, but she mentioned to me that she was at a real low point and completely drained. She wanted to hide away from the world and curl up and cry, but just one way of disconnection from social media and a long walk in nature led to an immediate restoration of good vibes. We think it's normal because it's pervasive, but we don't need to be connected 24/7. At the extreme, it's like a computer virus which crashes the operating system, your mind, and leaves you feeling down. And then it leads you down the path of addiction, and at worst, you could become suicidal. Now, I think of it like a pendulum, and this is an analogy from the Tao. We are striving to achieve a balance in the center, the middle way, but the pendulum is not left and right by the demands of the day. We can get sucked in and allow the pendulum to swing to extremes, but we need to consciously jump in and help it regain a calm, centered resting point. Let's look at sleep now. Sleep is made up of 4 states: awake time, light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Now, REM sleep occurs predominantly in the second half of your sleep cycle. It's a time when your brain processes all the emotional and logistical concerns of the day before. Technically, this is when neuroplasticity occurs. Now, neuroplasticity is the brain's capacity to continue growing and evolving in response to life's experiences. The importance of neuroplasticity cannot be overstated. It means that it is possible to change dysfunctional patterns of thinking and behaving, and to develop new mindsets, new memories, new skills, and new ability. There is always hope. Now, neuroplasticity is triggered in wakefulness, but actually occurs when you sleep. REM sleep plays a significant role in helping our brain consolidate and process new information. This stage is an internal therapy process that your body is wired with. Adrenaline is not triggered during REM, so you are not triggered, and your mind processes, downregulates, and files away the experiences as learning. This information is then retained in your long-term memory. REM sleep also helps to ensure better mental concentration and mood regulation, 2 things that are critical to both your daily work performance and overall quality of life. The negative effects from lack of REM sleep are serious. Without this critical sleep stage, your immune system could be weakened. You may experience pain more deeply, and the growth of new healthy cells and tissue in the body might be blocked. Poor REM sleep could be due to sleep disorders such as insomnia or obstructive sleep apnea, which causes you to wake during the night, so you may need to see a medical professional. But sometimes simple changes in your own choices and rhythms can fix these symptoms. REM sleep is often characterized by dreaming, and there's a good reason why people say you should try to write down your dreams first thing in the morning, which I'll come on to next. Have you had any dreams lately that might be trying to tell you something? Comment below and let me know. Dreams are fascinating. And this is partly why the first hour after waking up is crucial to mental health and avoiding dependencies and addictions. If you take the first hour for you, no mobile phones, no social media, no emails, no external interrupts or context switches, you get time to consolidate what your brain has been working so hard on in the night, and allow yourself the time to consciously process that download of where your brain shelved experiences. Take some time to journal. Write down your memories of the dreams. Write down your aspirations. Write down 3 items that you are grateful for. If you dive into social media or emails, you activate the sensory parts of your brain and flood it with dopamine, undoing a lot of the good work your body has put in to keep you healthy in body and mind. So, switch it off. Use the key tail end of your sleeping phase to learn from your learning. Journaling has long been used to cement critical thinking in your mind. The act of writing something down adds weight and importance to it, and you hardwire it. Relying on memory alone does not have the same impact. It's related back to the action part of the thoughts lead to emotions, lead to actions, lead to results cycle. If you rely on just memory, you stop the cycle of emotions halfway through. When you write it down, you take an action which completes the cycle and produces a result. So over time, start to take control of your life by simply taking time for you in the morning, journaling, gratitude, and I would also add some exercise, because this really does help with your sleep. These simple activities help you become more resilient and in charge of your destiny. Your confidence grows, and the pendulum starts to swing less and less to the extremes. As you become more centered, you feel more grounded, and when you feel more grounded, your body slowly reverts to its natural, holistic rhythms. Sleep improves, health improves, life improves. And I think that's something we all want. Since you enjoyed this video on helping you better understand sleep and the importance of the first hour of the day, I recommend these daily affirmations to get you started on the right foot. And to help you fall asleep, try this music I recorded to help you get a deep sleep. And until next time, my friend, peace. And I am wrecking the mind